Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's a special edition of our Uncensored match build-up show, basically because it's live. With the game being on Tuesday, we haven't had time to pre-record, so we thought, fuck it, let's just do it live. We're here. Let's go for it. As always, you can interact with the show in the comments section alongside or via @the Redmen TV on Twitter. I'm joined by Chris Pajak.
Hello.
As everyone who watches this video, including Chelsea fans, will of course recognise. And the Viv theorist Steve Hall joins us as well. Steve, Liverpool and Chelsea, second and third in the form table in the Premier League, clash of the Titans. If you only look at the form table and not the actual Premier League table. Look, this is a real test for us, isn't it? Liverpool are in resurgent form, relatively speaking. But playing against the big sides like Chelsea, we're going to see really how far we've come.
Yeah, and to be fair, overdone the opening 10-15 minutes of the home game in the league. They pretty much played us off the park, didn't they, in the league game. But we have been on a bit of a run. We've been beaten up on some pretty poor teams, if truth be told. We have. You have to do it. Don't get me wrong. This league's pretty crap. I think anyone from 8th down is pretty terrible. But yeah, so you've got to beat them. But yeah, it's a big game, and it's a cup semi-final at home. You know what I mean, against Chelsea. It's another one. It's a big game, and like I say, I agree. It's the formation and the tactics and everything that's been going on so far. It'll be interesting to see how it works against an elite European side, which is definitely what Chelsea are.
That's it. I'm just excited for that, and that reason alone. It's going to be nervy. I'm not going to feel like that when it comes to the actual match itself. But here and now, with a day to go, I'm kind of excited to test us. A little bit of fear because obviously we don't have the striking quality available to us. Daniel Sturridge looks like he's not going to be ready in time, which is a big shame, of course. But the fact that the team as a whole is playing a lot better, I'm quite interested to see how we handle it.
That's it, isn't it? I mean, Steve sort of alluded to it there, is that it's a real test for the formation that we've been playing, isn't it? Because, you know, we are slowly building into form, and Chelsea are the best team in the league, and it's how we pit up against them. And there's a lot of Liverpool fans out there, and I'm included in this, that are worried because I've seen enough to say that we can challenge them, but whether we're good enough defensively to deal with like Costa and Oscar, Hazard and Fabregas, that's a big jump from the teams we've been playing over the last month, isn't it?
But I think that the good thing is, in some respects, it's kind of good preparation. Liverpool needed to get the confidence back. They needed to get the form back. You know, we were in a real slump. We've had a shit start to the season. You said so. You've got to beat the teams put in front of you. I'm more confident going into that. We're a confidence team, and we always have been under Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, it's just like I say, it's better than going on. Listen, better than rolling into Chelsea on the back of a few defeats, isn't it? Thinking you're going to take a pasting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say home game semi-final Anfield. Hopefully. I'm not sure in the league. I was at the City semi-final last time, and the atmosphere was pretty good, to be fair, wasn't it? Albeit that was the second leg, but I can't see, any in terms of fear or anything. I'm not scared. I don't think you should be scared, and I think you should say, listen, the home game at Anfield first is a case of how I think they'll come and maybe park the bus to an extent.
I'd be interested to see that. I think Chelsea fans watching in between
slagging Chris off.
Yeah, and polishing up your plastic flags for them for next week. I want to know whether Chelsea would be happy with that, or would they expect that to happen? Because let's face it, although they finished third in the league last season, and that side's still probably better than what our side's been the first half of this. They didn't have that firepower that they've got now with Fabregas and Diego Costa. So it would have been understandable to come and park the bus, whereas they're blowing teams away now. Yeah. Chelsea fans, should Chelsea just come to Anfield and continue to play the game that's been so successful for you this season? Let us know in the comments below, or in ranting Twitter posts. That'd be great.
A Mourinho team that's contending to be what they do. They're trying not to lose the first leg and then get us to Stamford. If they go to Stamford Bridge even, or with a slight lead, isn't there? I think if you're off them 0-0 to go past Stamford Bridge, I think they'd take it now. Yeah, because they'd be confident.
It's interesting that Brendan Rodgers has been saying in the build to this, Chris, about how it is a two-legged tie. We need to learn from the mistakes of last season, where we were a bit naive and we went a bit too gung-ho and left ourselves exposed. He's talking about we need to make sure we're still in the tie, which is a big difference from what to where we were toward the end of last season. I'm kind of the opinion that we should maybe try and just should just try and go and win this game and see what happens.
I think if the ties were the other way around, and if we were coming back to Anfield, I could see more of Rodgers and what he's talking about there. But the first game being at Anfield, I see this as a chance to get a leg up in the tie. And I worry that if we don't do that, then actually we might struggle at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, definitely. I want to know the first question I'm going to ask the real question I'm going to ask the viewers. I want to know how much you hate Chelsea. It's weird because as you grow up, and obviously historically you got the shite and the scum with the two our two biggest rivals, the teams you dislike the most. Chelsea, I think Sky Sports have been going on about a lot on BBC. It's very much a modern football rivalry, isn't it? It's the last 10 years or so where this has really come. Yeah, where this has really sort of come to the forefront. We played each other that many times, all the European games, the semi-finals.
Well, it started, didn't it, with the year before Abramovich took over, and we had that fourth place playoff.
Kept us fourth, didn't it?
Yeah. And that was the start of it, really, because that was like we ended up in the UEFA Cup, was it, back then, and they went into the Champions League and stuff, and that made the fourth place playoff.
Oh yeah.
And then Abramovich took over, and then we played each other fucking 27 times in a 5-year period and stuff, and then contempt was born.
So there you go. So in a sentence, I want you to sum up just how much you hate Chelsea FC. Why not? Let's spark a little bit of a
I wonder what sentence everyone's going to say. You've just asked for
phrase could people possibly put in there? Let us know. Be nice. I mean, I said be nice. Like keep it within reason. Keep it to something you wouldn't be afraid to shout near a police officer. Yeah.
With the one not on Vine where that's the big
we may or may not read some out later on in the show. This certainly will not be. As I say, you can use the comment section alongside the video by tweeting us at the Redmen TV. Let's go to some general Liverpool news. We asked you for your tweet at one. Obviously, we're in the January transfer window. We've seen Jordan now come back from loan. It looks as though Brendan Rodgers seemed to confirm this week that Divock Origi is probably going to stay put at Lille for the rest of the season. But how do you feel on that? That bad?
Yeah, it's hard. Was he going to come and play? That's the first thing. If he wasn't going to play, he might as well stay there.
Yeah.
I think the problem is at Lille, it's all gone a bit sour, hasn't it? I think I haven't. Obviously, I'll be honest, I haven't seen much of it.
Not a massive Lille fan.
No, I'm not a French football connoisseur, to be honest. But I mean, you check up on, you read reports and stuff, and there's talk of boos by the fans. He's struggling. Apparently been stuck playing left wing, which isn't ideal. But what are you going to do? Bring him back and put him on the bench and play reserve footy? You might as well. If he's not going to play, you might as well leave him there. And excuse me, from a business sense, paying extra money for a player that's yours and stuff. It's one of those things. There's no point. But if he's not in the, if he's not going to play, you might as well let him get games there. You know what I mean? Rather than being sitting on our bench playing under 21 football. So it makes sense, I suppose. But
what do you think, Chris? Because we talked about you run the risk of putting too much pressure on him too soon or whatever. Yeah. But equally, if it's a case of Liverpool signing no backup striking options or bringing Divock Origi in, where would you sit?
It's a tough question, because if you'd have asked me a month ago, maybe even 2 months ago, when you're talking the form that we were in, I would say definitely don't bring them back, because I wouldn't want to ruin him in any way, shape or form. The form that we're starting to get into now, I actually wouldn't be too displeased to see him, because I could see where he would get a little bit of game time and stuff. When Lambert come off the bench at the weekend, Origi could have come on there and done a job for us. And with being so short up top, I wouldn't be reticent to bring them back, that's for certain. If he's going to get game time over there and we can get by without him, then leave him there ultimately.
Hopefully it's a sign that Sturridge is closer than we think. That's how I read in that.
Yeah, but it still goes back to the same argument we've had this time and time again. That's fine if Daniel Sturridge stays fit for the rest of the season. Liverpool are going to be a force for the rest of the season. I genuinely believe. If he doesn't, we're going to go back to what we've got now. The good thing is that we've seen, even albeit as we said against shitter opposition, we are starting to find a return. You know what I mean? We're not going back that the start of the season where we were getting nothing. We've not got that point where we were really pragmatic and we're just horrible, shit and boring, and we're lucky to get a couple of 1-0s. We're actually playing decent football again, so it's not the end of the day. It's not the end of the world, but I'm disappointed if we're not getting someone else in to bolster bolster the attack. Let us know in the comments, you know, how disappointed would you be? Sorry, it's a comment, Ben Kelly. That cough. It's all right, you can get away with it in pre-record.
Apologies, yeah. A little bit of a cough. I'm swigging the water to try and stop it.
In fact, just before it goes, I want to see if we can find some decent quotes that can be read out. Ray and Stevo666 says, I would rather, sandpaper my testicles and eat the shavings than have a conversation with a Chelsea fan. It's a good start. It's a very good start so far. Keep them coming in.
To be honest, I'd rather talk to a Chelsea fan, I'll be honest.
but that's fair. That's how much he dislikes Chelsea fans, and maybe just how much he dislikes his testicles. You know, one way or the other. Where I appreciate the sentiment. To be honest, I'm more inclined that with Man United fans from Manchester are they because every football fan has football in common with each other. So and I think a lot of younger football fans don't quite get this whole bant shite that you see on social media. But you know, in the real world, you walk into a pub and you can pretty much have a chat with any fella in the pub about footy because you've got footy in common. Apart from Liverpool fans from Liverpool and Manchester United fans from Manchester, which doesn't happen very often because there's not many of them. But you can't have. It's not possible. It's like just not compatible for a football-related conversation. It's not possible. Can't stand it. But we digress. So like I say, let us know the thoughts on the Divock Origi thing. I think the fact that Brendan Rodgers is talking about it, he's already said it's going to be a quiet window. He's reiterated that. He said that several times. So
we're going to sign someone for 50 million.
Well, that's the thing. You know, people go, oh, but maybe, what if?
Smoke screen.
No, it probably just means it's going to be very quiet, other than maybe one or two other players moving out. What do you think on some of the Enrique thing, Steve? He's apparently turned down a loan move to Palace.
Fair play to his feet, honest.
He's played for Pardew before, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't want to do that again.
Fuck that shit.
No tar.
I've been to Palace. It's fair play. The fans, like the good fans.
Terrific fans, nice club. Alan Pardew, Bellend.
Basically, yeah. and playing in blue and red stripes as well.
Yeah, it doesn't suit him.
No,
he wouldn't suit him. He wouldn't be happy with that.
He wouldn't look good in the selfie, would he? And maybe he's beating them on FIFA.
He'd look washed out, wouldn't he?
Maybe he's beating them on FIFA.
I think that's how he did his research. He kind of looked what the star rating was, and he was like, "Whoa, no."
I don't see why would you? I don't get the point of loan now, to be honest, because if Moreno got injured, he has to. I think he has to pretty much play, doesn't he? Because especially if Johnson's not fit or. Well, Johnson's apparently been pretty crap as well, so Enrique's not much better, but he isn't the worst backup left back you're ever going to get.
No.
In a squad where you're a little bit short at times, I'm not a big Enrique fan.
He's a fine backup left back.
But he's a backup left back, and it's not the most important position you need, is it? But
yeah. I do got some more comments here. Jai Libord says they sing about Gerrard more than they sing about their own damn players. Interesting that Mourinho actually talked about this week in the build-up, didn't he? And he said how, you know, kind of thought it was a bit sad that they've got Chelsea fans have got. He said it's kind of funny a couple of times, but after a while, you know, we've got more of our own songs. Yeah, we probably just sing them. Fair play.
Every time they play us, I'd understand if they sung it, because Liverpool fans will sing the John Terry song every time we play to Chelsea. Yeah. You're playing Hull at home.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's more.
That's where it gets a bit like.
Yeah, Man City fans should sing it, and Chelsea fans. But even Chelsea fans, I love the fact that they sing about it when
they were playing City. Remember that? Well, that was weird.
They finished third in the league.
They didn't
consequential.
In a league sense,
it's weird.
Again, it's funny. You know what? It's one of those things. I'm sure I would with great glee sing about it. But it was telling that Mourinho was talking about how, you know, one of his biggest regrets was missing out on signing Steven Gerrard and stuff like that. And I like the fact that I think it's the narrative slowly starting to turn that way. Is that you've got maybe a younger generation of idiot fans who go, oh, Steven Gerrard, he fell over. But then you've got the vast majority of people who actually have enjoyed football and the Premier League and Champions League over the last 15 years and can go, it's one of the best players ever to play in the league. And on that subject, then the big question: Steven Gerrard, apparently he's fit and available for the game. Does he start? Does he go straight back into the team for you, Chris? No.
I just think that the flow of the team at the moment with Lucas and Henderson is working fine, and I want to kind of see Lucas and Henderson against a top side.
But what about in the advanced position, which is where he played the last couple of times?
We played there at Wimbledon, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, he could, and he'd be fine for going back up there, to be honest. You know, I'd kind of like to see Coutinho and Sterling, much the same reason as Lucas and Henderson.
Yeah.
I want to see these players pitted against a top side, and I want to see how they do you know what I mean? And I know how Steven Gerrard will perform in that 10, he'll be fine.
Yeah, great.
But I want to see Sterling.
Yeah, we'll come back onto this in a second. Another comment here, we've got Jack Speakman, says Chelsea epitomised by Diego Costa, biggest knob in the league and plays for the wrong country. But you know what's the most annoying thing about Costa and Chelsea is that well, for starters, I wish he played for us because he is a terrific forward. But they've struggled to. We've had like a boss. We've had better centre forwards than them in recent years. In when Torres was at his peak, which is why they were so chuffed to have him. Good one. Still terrific. Thanks for having him. And obviously Suarez, and they did after Drogba, Drogba finished up his last period there. They've not really had someone in the same level. Costa's terrific. Anyway, yeah, let's know your thoughts on Gerrard. Does he go straight back in? Steve, we've said about Jordan Henderson, we want to see him nailing down that midfield position. We want to see Steven Gerrard used to the best of his ability, more in an advanced role in a 10 or whatever. He's still the captain of Liverpool. It's a massive game. Is he the right man for this occasion?
I think he'll play if he's fit. I think the manager will pick him. I'm not sure I would. I remember you asked me a while ago, and everyone was saying put Gerrard in an advanced position. I was thinking he's got no legs. How is he going to do that? But excuse me, that was in the 4-2-3-1 kind of thing. I think in this formation, that's where he has to play if he's going to play. Coutinho's looked a bit tired, I think, in recent games. I'll be honest, he's tired a bit. But sorry to cough again. I wouldn't play him.
No.
But I think he'll play him. I wouldn't be surprised if the manager goes back to Sterling up front, and then puts Gerrard in, and bins Barini off. That wouldn't be a huge. I think for us to play Saturday, or whatever it is, I think he's going to have to do something. I don't think he's going to pick the same team. So.
Question. That's an interesting shout, though, isn't it? Because the restoring Sterling to the.
It is, but
role.
one of the reasons that I think we've performed so much better over the last few weeks, and Gerrard's been involved in this, is the fact that it's not 2 of 3 harrying players further up the pitch; it's all 3 of them. Mm-hmm. So when Barini and Sterling and Coutinho they're all harrying. Yeah. Whereas having Gerrard, he's not going to harry the defence, he's not going to put them under that much pressure, so there's an easy out for the defence and they can build on that quite easily then. So for me, I want 3 people harrying them.
It could, I suppose though, on the flip side, it could play into that what Brendan Rodgers talked about a more considered approach. Do you want your 3 players bombing around? It might work against lesser teams, but a good sides, if you over press against good teams, they just pass the ball.
But there's a difference between a player not pressing and over pressing, isn't there? Yeah. I think so. So a lot of the time, you can pick when to press and how with what intensity to press. Steven Gerrard doesn't press. Yeah. That's probably the difference.
Well, just go over to Twitter then. I put a shout out earlier for some topics or whatever. Robin Tech Tips says we tend to play 2 centre attacking midfielders at the moment from Lallana, Coutinho and Sterling. And I'm going to throw in Gerrard into that as well. Which 2 would you pick when they're fully fit?
For this game or just in general? Yeah. So if Sturridge were up front, basically, so who would play behind him? Mm-hmm. I would play Sterling definitely. And
it's tough, isn't it?
Coutinho, I love Lallana, but I think Coutinho.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be adverse to Lallana, to be honest, but I'd go Coutinho still.
I love the thing is I think I miss what Lallana brings to the side. I think he's starting to really prove himself a decent player. I think he's got more end product than all of the. Well, maybe not Gerrard, potentially, but he's definitely got more end product than Phil Coutinho.
He'll score more goals, yeah.
But does he have? He doesn't have the same level of mobility as Coutinho. It's a very interesting question. Where would you go with it?
I'd probably go with either Coutinho or Sterling and Lallana, to be honest. For, again, what I was talking about before is the fact that he presses so well, and you do get these sort of. You might not get that 1 killer ball from Lallana, but you get intricate play further up the field in that final third. And when they're such a good defence, sometimes it can be that unlocks them rather than the killer ball from 30 yards.
I think you can get too hung up on starting 11s and best 11s as well. Some people say, what's your best 11? Well, best 11 depends on 100 different things. It depends on who you're playing, how fit someone is.
Yeah.
There's loads of different ways, and I just think Sterling's our best player at the minute. I really do. I think he's our best player. a fit Sturridge is the best player, but he's not.
He's not fit.
That doesn't exist at the minute. So I think Sterling's still our best player. So I think I'd have him on. But like I say, there's options, and you can include a Gerrard. You can include Markovic can do that job. Jordan Ives back, and he can do that job. So it's nice to at least have an option there rather than it being fucking Victor Moses or fucking Aspas or something. You know what I mean? So in terms of building the squad up, you can tell it's worked. What the manager wanted to do has worked in terms of he wanted more of a squad.
Yeah.
The problem was that he wasn't doing that good in the first.
Well, listen, I still think so much of the squad is let down entirely by not having a world class replacement for Daniel Sturridge.
I think if the Remy thing is the one that does that, and the Remy, I know he plays for Chelsea, it's quite topical, but that falling through and it fell through for medical. That's what we were told. You don't want to disbelieve that. You know what I mean? Whether it did or it didn't. I mean, this is rumour city, Liverpool, isn't it? So
absolutely, yeah.
someone pulls an hamstring, the next minute, they smack off the tits for 6 weeks. Or so you don't know. But if that was the sign, and I think had he been fit, I mean, he's been unfit for Chelsea. I think he keeps getting injured himself, so maybe he's blessing in disguise. But that was the one where I think he was Sturridge light.
Yeah, I
think that's what he was, and if that would have worked, then I think it'd have been a lot better. And we wouldn't have got I don't think we'd have got Balotelli. I think we'd have just stuck with him. But
the rest is history.
Is what it is.
Let's go over to Twitter then. At Dingabell UK says, my big bro is a Chelsea fan and has been since the 1970s, so I don't hate them that much. But Mourinho's face is so punchable. Yeah. And a couple more tweets related to Steve's cough. Which has been the star of the show so far.
Sorry, folks.
JN Hughes, 1996. I'd rather have a cough like that for the rest of my life than be a Chelsea fan.
Oh, trust me.
I don't know. No cough. Win a few trophies, buy a few big players. Like,
the grief you get off your missus in the house as well. Every time you're coughing, it's just
every time you wake the baby.
Every time you're coughing, you're just there.
Yeah, it's just
Stay, stop coughing.
Conor Mallon 10 asks, is Steve over the Green Bay Packers defeat to the Seattle Seahawks last night?
No. Thanks for whoever that was.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how on the subject of the League Cup, getting back on track, how legitimate a cup competition it becomes when you're only a couple of games away from the final?
It's true, isn't it?
It is the ultimate. Let's face it, it's the ultimate Mickey Mouse Cup competition. But right here, right now, I really, really want to get to the final.
It always happens though, doesn't it? You get to the semi-final, especially if you're playing a team like Chelsea. It makes it even more important, doesn't it? So it's you just don't give a shit. It's one of those. I think the players and the coaches are exactly the same, aren't they? They generally don't give a shit. But if you somehow end up in the semis, it's on.
Yeah,
it's on like Donkey Kong.
It's gone there. Great, go on.
I think Brendan's played it how you would want. You play Middlesbrough at home, so you play your reserves and your kid. So pretty much that's what we've done.
You probably don't want 3 days of penalties, but
other than that,
let's not have that again.
That was cold and boring on it. But then I think Swansea.
Fucking missed the end as well.
I think Swansea at home, he played again a little bit of a mismatch, but a stronger team. And then was it Bournemouth? Am I right in saying
Bournemouth? Yeah.
Fair, and he put his best team out, didn't he? Because we needed to win because we were under pressure. So it's kind of it's worked out all right, I think. And it's weird. Mourinho's a funny one because he takes it serious, doesn't he? He tends to play as it's a luxury when your backup players are Shearer and Williams and stuff.
Yeah.
If they're your backups, like fair play, and Remy and Drogba and stuff, fair enough. But he takes it seriously every time. Man City tend to take it seriously, I think, when they won a couple of times, haven't they, recently and stuff. I think it's coming back to being a little bit more important for teams, just because, Paul, there's 4 trophies. Managers are so under pressure to win things. You need to win something, and it doesn't mean winning the League Cup and coming 8th doesn't mean nothing.
Hey, let's be real. League Cup, it goes up and down, doesn't it? Because sometimes you have those years when you end up with like 2 lower end Premier League and a fucking First Division side, old, never mind. In the finals or whatever. But we're talking about Mourinho, who's it's a terrific manager, isn't he? And he's got a phenomenal track record. But Abramovich is a fucking lunatic, isn't he? Like, you know what I mean? And the very simple fact of the matter is, give your boss, give the paymaster a nice big day out where he can have a little bit of a celebration, get a bottle of champagne tipped over his head and all that, like, you mean, to make him feel like he's getting something for his investment. And that's part and parcel of the job. Like Chelsea, and to be fair, Liverpool as well. Brendan Rodgers not got a silverware in his, not got a trophy full of silverware, a trophy cabinet full of silverware. He's got to get something. You know, both of these sides want to win it, and it's a case of I think a lot of it's going to come down to the players themselves and how much they give a shit about it ultimately to where this one goes. So yeah, but lads, equally, you know, this time next week or a couple of days after that, it could well be back to being a shit Mickey Mouse Cup. It's as easy as that. It's as easy as that, and we can worry about the. Oh no, we could be at the FA Cup as well. We can focus on pressing for the Europa League.
Via the league.
Great, yeah, we've got more content coming up this week. We're going to be obviously at the game on Tuesday. Post-match we'll be doing the usual raft of interviews and what have you, so come over and say hello, unless you're a Chelsea fan looking to knife Chris, in which case step off. It's only a game of footy, lads. Yeah, anyway, we're going to get some score predictions. Steve, how do you think it's going to go?
Oh, I've got no idea. Honestly, I've got no clue. Guess 1-1. I don't know, Paul, because it depends how we approach it, how Chelsea approach it. There's so much that can happen. I just hope that we go to Stamford Bridge with something to play for. Or what you're doing, because it's not unfeasible that we get tonked. Yeah. It really isn't, and I don't. So just keep it close. And I'm interested. My interest is how the manager approaches, and we'll know this. But with the team sheet, who's playing fullback? Mm-hmm. If it's Markovic and Moreno, or if it's Manquillo and Moreno, that'll tell you Brendan's approach. Yeah. I hope he goes balls out.
Relatively balls out, I think you're right. I think, you know, we look what happened the last time we tried to keep ourselves in contention for something was the fucking Champions League.
That Bale game was a joke.
You know, and it was like, you know, we're still in with a shout in the fucking in the last game, and look what happens. I say fuck it. You know, I don't think we need to be stupid, but also we can't be too. Look, it's gonna. There's a possibility they park the bus and we park the bus, but we're just gonna sit and fucking lob long balls behind between the two keepers. Like,
I wish he'd have done that last year in the league.
Yeah.
I wish Mingay just put his foot on the ball for 90 minutes.
We absolutely should have done that in the league, but this is different, and I appreciate that it is a two-legged tie, but I'd be of the opinion that let's treat it as two individual games and let's go and play. Let's. I think you've
got to go and try and beat them. I don't think you can go to Stamford Bridge having to beat Chelsea.
You don't go exactly. You don't go to Stamford Bridge with the expectation of coming away with stuff, even though, you know, historically we've had our moments there, haven't we? So yeah, I want us to go for it, but I agree, I don't know, I haven't got a clue how this game's going to go, Chris, because we've seen an upturn in forms. They've been frigging sensational at times. I think it's more than hope than an expectation.
It's kind of how Mourinho approaches the game, isn't it? I think that will that'll set the tempo for the game, because he's not easy to predict, Mourinho, and I think Rodgers is slightly more easy to predict in what he's going to do. And it wouldn't surprise me if Mourinho just came here and went, you know what, we've got these at the Bridge, so let's just fucking stifle this game.
Go for a 0-0.
Yeah, and that wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape or form. And if that happens, I'm going 1-0 Liverpool, because that Costa's a waste of money. That Fabregas, fucking Oscar's a waste of money.
That's a vine. That Paddy Powers like that. Fucking get it.
No. Yeah. And they're all.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah.
Fantastic football players.
Fantastic. They're all really good footballers. Yeah. Let us know your score predictions in the comments below. Yeah, I mean, we're going to go off and prepare for the obvious onslaught and barrage of rentboys fans that are doubtless going to rear their heads again in the next couple of weeks. On that though, I've made a couple of points on this in a you know, we'll be semi-serious for the moment. A number of people have asked for it, and I think the weird thing about it is you've got some Chelsea fans think that it's a laugh at Chris's expense, which is alright, and then the vast majority of people, which is the vast majority of people, use it to basically take the piss out of Chelsea. We ain't got no problem with people taking the piss out of Chelsea. The more people who choose to take the piss out of Chelsea in general, life is just a good thing, because let's face it, it's a horrible football club with some really horrible players and no history. But, and a lot of people don't know this though, and this is where I'm getting serious for you, that when we were told, and people have asked us why we haven't promoted the Vines and Chris's interview from the time, was a huge mistake on our part. Again, for reasons only in that, and we didn't know at the time, but that expression, the rent boys as a term, is offensive to gay people, and we were told that, which we didn't know at the time, which is why we've distanced ourselves from this as much as possible. We've deleted the videos and tried our best to make sure the vines don't see the light of day. If you want to share them, that's your own prerogative, but like that's the reason we don't get associated with them. And if we can educate one or two extra people as a result, then so be it. That's maybe the only good thing in the larger scale that can come out of this. So yeah, if you want to bash Chelsea fans, there's plenty of ways to do it. The fact that as I say, they've got no history. Mourinho, as mentioned in the comments earlier, he's got a punchable face, he's got a shit coat. Loads of these things you can go back to that, but the other stuff. John Terry's mark. I loves certain organs from the northwest. All these things, all great things, and great games where we've beaten them in the past, ghost goals and all that shite. Go for all that, but leave all the Red Boy stuff to one side. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. It's been a good laugh. Hope you've enjoyed watching the show.
Apologies for the cough.
Apologies for the cough. He won't be coming back until we get some tissue licks. Thanks for watching. Check out the redmentv.com for full match analysis from Aston Villa, and we'll be doing a full in-depth detailed analysis of this Chelsea game as well, and doing our weekly transfer special where we're probably going to talk about the fact that Liverpool aren't going to buy anyone. So that's check it out. Yeah, the redmentv.com free for a month. Anyway, thanks very much. Give the video a thumbs up as well. Thoughts in the comments, and see you after the match.